Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something I think we all struggle with a little bit. Um, you know, those spending habits, the ones that we just can't seem to shake.
Yeah. It's like we always hear, our penny saved is a penny earned, right?
Right.
But like, what if our brains are kind of wired to spend those pennies instead of saving them? That's kind of what we're digging into today.
It's so true. So
Yeah.
we're going way beyond the typical budgets and spreadsheets, that kind of stuff. We really want to uncover the psychology, the why behind our overspending, and then, most importantly, I think, how to gain control over it.
It's like, think of this deep dive as like, I don't know, what's a good word for it? Like unearthing those emotional and psychological things that like almost make you want to reach for your wallet, even when you're like, no, don't do it.
Yes, I feel personally attacked by that statement.
Right.
Okay, so let's jump right into it. Our sources today are, seriously packed with fascinating insights, especially about the emotional side of spending. So for someone who's, never really thought about this before, what's the first big takeaway they should know?
Well, the first thing is like spending. It's not always logical. We like to think we're making these rational decisions about money, but honestly, our emotions, they play a much bigger role than we realize. Way bigger.
Okay, so it's not just me. I'm not the only one who ends up, on 11 different online shopping sites after a super stressful day at work.
Oh my gosh, no. That's like such a classic example of retail therapy. It's a real thing. You're using shopping to deal with all those negative emotions, like
Yeah.
stress.
Okay. So that makes sense. Right. But, our sources also say that happiness can be a trigger too. So it's not even just about, soothing the bad. It's also about, chasing the good feelings.
Totally. Think about those times when you get a promotion at work, or it's your birthday, or even like you're just having a really good hair day.
Yes.
We link spending to those good vibes, which like creates a powerful, I don't know, I guess association in our brains.
Yeah. So my brain is, learning to equate spending money with feeling good,
Mhm.
whether it's getting rid of stress or, getting that a little boost of happiness,
Mhm.
which, I mean, no wonder it's so hard to resist. But what about those times, and this happens to me a lot, where I'm not even stressed or particularly happy. I'm just bored.
Uh-huh.
And then I find myself, again, scrolling through my favorite online stores. What's going on there?
Oh, that's when things get really, really interesting. Boredom, so it turns out, is actually a huge trigger for spending. Like when we're understimulated, our brains, they crave anything new, anything exciting. And what's something that's super easy to get that quick hit of excitement?
Shopping. So
Exactly.
even just browsing online, adding things to our cart, even if we don't buy them,
Yeah.
that can still trigger those feel-good chemicals.
100%, yeah. And we can't forget about the role of social media in all of this. I mean, we're constantly like bombarded with images of people living these perfect Instagrammable lives.
Oh, 100%.
And it makes us feel like inadequate, like we need to keep up with everyone else.
Yeah. I can't even tell you how many times I've been on social media, seen a friend post about an amazing vacation, and then suddenly I need to book a trip too. Even though I hadn't even thought about it before.
Right. That's the power of like social pressure. We're like wired to want what other people have. And in today's world where everyone's like connected all the time, it's even worse.
So we've got stress, we've got boredom, we've got happiness, and then that social pressure. Those are some major players in the spending game. I'm already starting to see some patterns in my own behavior, which is kind of terrifying. But before we jump into any solutions, is there anything else we need to understand about why we spend the way we do?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's one more piece to this whole puzzle. You ready for this? It's called dopamine.
Dopamine. Okay, I've heard of that. Isn't that the reward chemical?
Yeah.
The one that makes us feel good?
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. And let me tell you, it plays a huge, huge role in our spending habits.
Dopamine. Okay, yeah, I've definitely heard of that. Isn't that the reward chemical? The thing that makes us, you know, feel good?
Yeah, you got it. The one that makes you feel good, and it's a huge part of like why we do the things we do. It plays a huge role in like our spending habits too, believe it or not.
Okay, I believe it. So walk me through this. How does dopamine turn us into shopaholics?
Okay, so picture this, right? You're online and you see a pair of shoes that you just, I don't know, you suddenly have to have them.
Been there.
And that like rush of I gotta have it,
Yeah.
that's dopamine, right? So then you buy the shoes and boom, another hit of dopamine. This time it's from you actually getting them. And that creates like what we call a reward loop.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
So every time we buy something, especially something we really, really want, Our brain is basically giving us a little reward, which makes us want to do it again. It's
Mm.
like we're training our brain to want that shopping high.
Yes, exactly. And like, here's the thing. The rush doesn't last. It fades away so fast. And that just makes us want more, which makes us buy more. It's like a cycle. We buy something, we want more. We buy something, we want more. It never ends.
Oh, that makes so much sense. It's like, when you buy that like expensive thing you've been wanting forever and you're like so excited about it for like 5 minutes and then it's just like another thing.
Totally. And honestly, companies know how this works. They're using it against us.
No, really.
Oh, yeah. They're using all those marketing tricks, like those limited time only
No. Yes.
flash sale. Like, they know that's going to make us act impulsively. It's that dopamine.
So it's like not even about like resisting the candy at the checkout anymore. It's like the entire system is rigged.
Yeah.
How do we even combat that?
Okay, well, first of all, just knowing is a huge step, right? So, give yourself a little credit. Now that we know how this all works, we can start making different choices. So, one thing that I always recommend is the 24-hour rule. Have you heard of that?
The 24-hour rule. Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've tried that before, but not very successfully. Like, what's the thinking behind that?
I mean, it's pretty simple, honestly. When are about to buy something you don't actually need, you literally just wait 24 hours. And then, if you still really want it after 24 hours, then you think about it. But a lot of the time, that feeling is gone.
Yes, so often I'm like, I don't even know why I wanted that in the first place.
Exactly. It gives you some space between, like, wanting it and buying it. Another thing I think is really good is, like, just try not to, like, put yourself in those situations where you're going to be tempted.
So like unsubscribing from all those email lists, the ones that are like, sale ends soon, don't miss out, like that.
Yes, and like not just emails, just like be mindful of how much time you're spending, scrolling online, looking at all these stores, or even just like on social media,
Yeah.
because everybody's just like posting these perfect curated lives.
Ugh, it's true. Okay, so out of sight, out of mind. Got it. But let's be real, like it's impossible to avoid it all. There's always going to be, something. So what about like when we're in those situations and, that urge hits us?
Okay, this is where like having a good budget is so important, and I don't just mean like tracking what you spend, but like having a plan for your money. Like you should have a category for your fun money.
Ooh, fun money. I like that. So like actually giving ourselves permission to spend a little bit on, I don't know, like little things without feeling bad about it.
Exactly. So if you know, okay, I have this much money each month for, going out to dinner or whatever, then you're not as tempted to like overspend in other areas as long as you stick to it. That's the hard part.
So like if I spend all my fun money on, I don't know, a weekend trip, then that means like no more spontaneous lattes for the rest of the month.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point. It makes you like actually decide what you want more. Is it more important to you to get a coffee every day or to go on that trip? It's your choice. You decide.
Okay, I'm into it. But it's just like still so hard to resist in the moment, What else can we do?
Okay, this one might sound a little old school, but I think it's a good one. Our sources mention using cash, like actual cash.
Like cash. I haven't used cash in like forever.
I know, right? But there's something about it, like when you hand over the money, you see it, it's like more real. It's not the same as just tapping your card.
Oh my God, it's so true. When you see your wallet getting thinner.
Exactly. Makes you think twice.
So we've talked about like the urges we get and, those dopamine things and like even how companies are using it against us. But now I want to talk about solutions. Like how do we actually fix this?
Yeah. Okay. So basically it comes down to, being smart about it, like making sure your spending matches your goals.
I love that. So it's not just about like, never buying anything fun ever again.
It was. Not at all.
It's more about being like thoughtful and making sure our money is going where we want it to go.
Exactly.
But how do we actually like make that happen? It's easy to say, but then, I'm right back to online shopping at 2 a.m.
It's true. It's way harder to like actually do it, right? Okay. So one thing that really helps is like before you buy something, especially if it's, not something you need, just ask yourself like, does this actually like fit with my goals?
So instead of being like, ooh, cute shoes, I want those.
Yeah.
I should be like, okay, wait, do these shoes help me save for a down payment on a house?
Exactly. Sometimes it'll be a yes, and that's okay. You can buy the shoes.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times the answer will be no.
Right.
And that's the whole point, right? You're like, okay, I'm not actually helping myself here.
Right. It's like choosing between like what I want right now and like what future me wants. But sometimes future me feels like a totally different person. Like future me has her life together and present me just wants pizza.
Oh, tell me about it. It's a struggle.
Right.
Okay, so this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but gratitude is huge.
Gratitude. Okay, how does that help me not spend money?
So, like when we're focusing on, all the stuff we already have, instead of like wanting more stuff all the time, it changes things.
Hmm. Right.
We start to be like, "Ah, I have enough," instead of always wanting more, more, more.
So it's not like, pretending we don't want to, I don't know, like achieve our goals and stuff. It's about like appreciating what we already have while we're working towards those goals.
Yeah, like maybe you're, I don't know, grateful for your family or your dog or I don't know, like even just having a roof over your head. It's the little things.
So true. And when we're happy with what we have, we don't feel as much of that like need to buy more stuff.
Right. Okay, and this is a big one too. Think about how you like reward yourself.
Okay, I'm like really bad at that. My reward is usually like buying something.
I know, right? But like think about the things that like actually make you happy. And I don't mean like a dopamine rush, like real happiness. Like maybe it's spending time with your family or like going for a walk or, whatever you're into.
Yeah. So like instead of celebrating a work win with like a new pair of shoes or whatever, maybe I should like take myself on a hike.
Exactly. It's like experiences over things.
Okay, I am loving this. This is like a total mindset shift. It's actually not about like depriving myself or anything. It's about like being in control of my own life.
Yes. And like, don't beat yourself up if you mess up. It's a journey. You're going to make mistakes. But the important thing is like, you're aware of it now.
That is so true. This has been amazing. Like I feel like I actually have the tools now to like actually change my habits.
You do. Just remember everything we talked about. You got this.
This deep dive has been amazing. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of like myself and my spending habits. It's not just about the money, it's about like my brain. And honestly, I feel kind of powerful now that I know. And like you said, we all deserve to feel in control of our own life and our own money. So until next time, everyone, happy budgeting.